course, we are called as believers, not just prophets, but as believers. We are supposed to be emanating, according to 2 Corinthians chapter 2, we're supposed to be emanating the fragrance of God. So we definitely have to make sure, it is imperative that we as prophets, prophetic people, it is our responsibility to make sure that our vessel, our apothecary, is fly free. Yes. So that we will not find ourselves in a predicament where we are uttering or making those declarations from a contaminated place.
In Antioch,
yes,
the text says, and they taught the assembly, watch this, a whole year. They taught the assembly a whole year. Okay. That was the teaching ministry. 2 chapters later, in chapter 13, there was, it says, and now there were in Antioch apostles and teachers and prophets, etc. And they names, and then of course they consecrated Barnabas and Saul, by the way. But that waiting period was not a wasted period. That was the training and those gifts that we see 2 chapters later, whatever time period, came from those who were teachable, who were the acronym FAT, faithful, available, and teachable.
Can it affect other areas in our life?
Absolutely. It affects, not only does it affect how you show up. So whenever you get stuck in your stuff, you can't move forward. And being stuck in a situation that frustrates you is not going to serve you. So the key to, after you identify the stuff, is deciding whether or not you're going to stay stuck in the stuff. So I could have gotten so bent out of shape about my hair not doing what I thought it should have, could have, would have done, that I said, you know what, Kelly, I can't do the show today because my hair is tripping. Right? And that would have had a ripple effect on you, me, our reputation. We would have robbed the people who are hearing us and supporting this today and needing to hear a word of encouragement and liberation and help, dealing with their stuff. They wouldn't have gotten it. Why? Because I didn't like the way my hair was. I mean, come on. Yeah, you've got to put stuff in the right perspective. Some stuff is not worth sweating over. I love the book, Don't Sweat the Small Stuff, because what you realize is that it's all small stuff.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another conversation with Kelly. I am your host, Kelly Spencer. I am so glad that you decided to spend this afternoon just eavesdropping a little bit on this conversation that is super important. This, of course, as you know, is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, as well as Domestic Violence Month. We definitely want to pay homage to those survivors of domestic violence as well. But today we're going to talk about breast cancer. My guest today, she has been here before. She is no stranger to Conversations with Kelly. I love this lady, and you will see why in just a minute. But do me a favor before we get into it. Like, comment, share. Let me know where you're watching from. And if you holler at me, I'll holler back at you. But the most important thing, especially with this topic, tag someone that you know is going through a breast cancer journey, or someone is supporting someone going through a breast cancer journey. So again, thank you so much for joining us, and we are going to just dive right in and be empowered and inspired by our guests. Before I do, I just want to give you a few interesting stats that I found. The National Breast Cancer Coalition in 2022 stated that 1 in 11 women will be diagnosed. That was in 1975. In 2022, it increased to 1 in 8. So every Out of 8 women, one will be diagnosed with breast cancer. So this is why this topic is so vital and crucial and important. Some of the factors that could increase the risk of breast cancer is, of course, having a dense breast, getting older, as well as a family history of breast cancer. So my guest today is a survivor and thriver, and I can go, just cannot wait for you to meet her. She is none other than Dr. Beth Goodman, aka Sprinkles. Woo!
Hello. God
Welcome,
day to you. Thank you for having me.
welcome back to Conversations with Kelly, ma'am.
Absolutely a blessing to be here 365 days round there about again.
That's right. That's
We're
right.
thankful.
That's right. Well, I do know her a little bit more, but I want to give you the opportunity to hear just a little bit about who she is. She's only just been in, New York Times bestseller author with the book 42. That's all. She's been guest on Fox and NBC, the Today Show with Hoda and Kathy Lee. I mean, and and to add the creme de la creme on the top, she was featured in Essence, y'all. Yes, she was. And here it is. Can you believe that? Look at you.
To
And
God be the glory.
before I go any further, I tell the people about this story.
Absolutely, please.
So I am in the store, in the checkout line. And what do you do when you're in the checkout line and it's a long line? You pick up the magazine and you just browse through. So I'm browsing through, and I said, she looked familiar. I said, that's I was so excited. I wanted to tell everybody in the line, but I thought they would put me in a straitjacket. So I kept it in and I called you. And we
Yes,
had
you
some
did.
serious laughs, you guys. But that is just to show you that she is a champion for breast cancer health. And I am
Yes,
not going to exclude. She is mom to Trey and
yes,
Taylor. Woo, woo.
yes.
Well, again, welcome. Glad to have you back, ma'am.
Yes, it's a pleasure to be here. Oh, and my bonus girl, Premier. So it's Premier, Taylor, and Trey.
Yes,
Yes,
yes, yes,
it's a
yes.
blessing to be back. And again, I celebrate you. Season four of making an impact and touching lives, Kelly, simply through conversation is just amazing. I'm so proud of you, and I'm so glad to be able to be here again this year to acknowledge breast cancer awareness and to impact lives from a place of best breast health.
Yes. And we met through a conversation talking about breast cancer years ago. I
Yes,
happen to
ma'am.
have seen a photo shoot, I guess, that was posted somewhere on Facebook. And we were talking initially about t shirts. And then we started, talking a little bit more. And I said, wait a minute, you're the lady with the feather boa.
That's about how it went, Kelly. That's
So
about how it went.
yeah, so Grand, she's up in heaven. Thank you for teaching me to
Yes,
make sure wherever you go, you act right, because you never know who you might meet.
that part. Sprinkles.
And speaking of sprinkles, let's talk
Yes.
about first. How did that name attach to you?
So, funny story. My best friend and I are you guys probably remember Living Single and the
Yes,
character Regine played by Kim Fields. And we all
yes,
know Regine to be, extra with everything.
yes,
And
yes,
so my
yes.
best friend and I we always would try to out extra one another. If there's a play in the most positive way possible, we would always try to extra out each other. And so we would do smooches. We would say smooches and we'd one and smooches. And one day I said to her, I want my own word. And she was like, fine, get your own word. And I said, sprinkles. And her response was like, yay, ugh. I hate to love it. Oh my gosh, I hate to love it. I hate to love it. So we became sprinkles and smooches, smooches and sprinkles. So then as time went on, another friend who calls me Kang, she was like, Kang, did you know the sprinkles was in the Bible? And I was like, ma'am, now look here. If I'm going to go to hell, of which I'm not, I'm going to go doing something I enjoy. I said, not over sprinkles. And she said, no, sprinkles is in the Bible. And Kelly, she opened up Isaiah 52, verses 13 through 15. And it reads, and so will he sprinkle many nations. And so literally that particular 3 verses of scripture are my life. The title says, the suffering and glory of the servant. And my memory is not going to get the whole thing, but it starts out saying, see my servant, see my servant, see. That's indicative that you are going to be able to put your eyes on me. I belong to him. Servant, that means I serve others, will be exalted and highly lifted up. And that's what my girls are, exalted and highly lifted up, because when they are lifted up, he said, if I be lifted up from the earth, that I'll draw all men unto me. And so my girls are lifted up so that he is lifted up. And when people see me in my apparel from Kingdom Clothes, they're drawing all men unto him. It says, see, my servant will be highly exalted, lifted up and highly exalted. Some will be appalled by him. And Kelly, let's just be truthful. Not everybody can handle sprinkles. Not everyone can handle an infectious, joyful, grateful, gracious spirit. Everyone does not understand. And they think, oh my gosh, it doesn't take all of that. Listen, it takes all of that and more, because the Bible says if I had 10,000 tongues, I couldn't praise him enough. And 10,000 tongues is not enough for me to say thank you for what he's done. So if you think it's too much and over the top, that's between you and your God. As for me and my girls, it's never too much. And they said, and they will be appalled, and his body marred beyond that of human recognition. And you see, Kelly, that's what the enemy attempted to do with my body. He attempted to mar and disfigure my breasts. But let me tell you this, on this day, my girls are the bomb. They are the BALM. They are the bomb in Gilead, baby. They are the bomb. You hear me? My girls are the bomb. And then it goes on to say, so will he sprinkle many nations. Men who, let me see, Lord, it says, men who have not heard will understand, and those have not seen, they will come into something around that. It all paraphrases to say their mouths will be shut because of what God has done. And clearly, I don't look like what I've been through.
Absolutely.
And it is all for the grace of God. So will I sprinkle many nations. We all know that Abraham is the father of many nations, and we're all sons of Abraham. So if we're all sons of Abraham, every time I'm saying sprinkles, what am I doing, Kelly? Sprinkling many nations.
Yes.
I am sprinkling many nations, not just in the person of sprinkling many nations, but as well because of the internet, sprinkling many nations around the world.
Yes.
So, and there we have it. That's how sprinkles came about.
And to think, Essence, New York Times bestseller.
Yes, ma'am.
Today Show, Fox. You never know how far your testimony that you shared on those platforms reached, and the impact of those that saw it.
Yes, Kelly.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know, recently I celebrated my 16th year cancerversary on October 19th. And October 19th is the day that I declare me being a survivor, because that's the day that cancer was removed from my body. That's the day that I had my mastectomy and had the reconstruction. And on the 19th, or actually it was the 13th, I had a celebration. I had a cancerversary, and I had a party and it was just a life celebration. And during the celebration, the attendees were passed the mic, and each person had the opportunity to just say, now all of this happened unbeknownst to me, because I was just coming to cha-cha slide, eat food, hug, laugh, and have a great time. But they got the mic, and each person began to share how we came in contact, and began to share how my testimony encouraged them. And Kelly, I don't quite yet have the words to express how listening to them and hearing what they had to say just took me. It just took me, because I'm simply just being myself. One young lady, Stacy, said, Beth, I knew I could do it because you told me I could.
Wow. Wow.
This is what she said. She said, I'm here because you said you've got to do this. And here again, Kelly, simply being me. Simply just being me and giving God the glory through my story. That's all that it is. And if you can't handle the glory in my story, you can turn the page, you can turn the chapter, you can even close the book. But the God I serve, I will say until the day he brings me home that he blessed me with breast cancer to be a blessing. To be a blessing, to stand in truth, to stand in joy, to stand with grace, and to let people know that if he can do it for me, clearly he can do it for you, Kelly. He can do it.
Yes.
I mean, you know the big word now, won't he do it? Yes.
Won't he will?
Won't he? Won't he will? Won't, let's see, I'm messing it up. Won't he will? Won't he do it? Can he do it? Yes, yes, and yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Well, I thank you for being the open book, if you will, to allow people to peek into the intricate, the most vulnerable moments in your life, so that they could be strengthened, that they could be encouraged.
Yes.
So I thank you.
You know, and it's also important that people understand everyone's story is different.
Yes.
Everyone's story is different. And if you are a person that is currently fighting, my strength and encouragement to you is you have the power to write your story while giving God glory. You have that power. You have the power to pull the pieces from your story that bring joy. And I know, again, everyone's story is different, but he came that you might have life and have it more abundantly. Even in the times during our fight, we have to fight with faith and not fear. And once you start rejoicing and praising God, even in the worst of times, giving God glory, he will see that and he will honor that. The more you exercise your faith, the more you're pleasing him, because we know that without faith, it's impossible.
To please.
It is impossible.
Yes.
And then the other strength that I love to give is the analogy of this. God knew that he could trust me with breast cancer. And in my most roughest of times, Kelly, when I wanted to throw in the towel, all I could do was close my eyes and envision Calvary. And if he could suffer on the cross for me, clearly I could carry that cross. Notice I said carry the cross.
Yes.
I could carry the cross. The cross, cancer didn't carry me, I carried it.
Yes.
Cancer didn't have me, I had it.
Yes.
So I could carry the cross for him because I could envision the sacrifice that he made.
And it can't compare.
None.
It cannot. What we go through cannot compare to what
Listen,
on the cross.
Listen, but you said something. Going through.
Yes.
Go in through. We
Yes.
have to have that mindset. Go in, already done. Going through. Go
Yes.
in through. Whatever is happening in your life, we're going through. We never pronounce the G on going. Who do you know that says, hi, where are you going? No one. We always say, where are you going?
Oh. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Going through.
mm-hmm,
Going done.
mm-hmm,
Go
mm-hmm.
in already complete. As a man or woman thinketh, that is what she or
So
he will be.
absolutely,
And
so is he.
we
Mm-hmm.
have to anchor to that resolve. It is so important that even in the roughest of times that we anchor to that resolve, because once we do, we are able to maintain. We're able to have the fortitude that you spoke about, Kelly.
Yes. Now you said something about the two avenues, and it was actually something I was going to talk about in a second. The fight or faith or fake. I don't know if you remember you mentioned that last time. You can either
Okay,
decide,
come on.
or you can walk this thing out through faith, or you can walk it out in being fake, meaning ignore and
Yes.
pretend it's not there, and you know, yes,
So
expand.
listen, what so and I'll add another F in just a minute to that. So the faith, the fight, and the faith. What I have come encounter with this year, a lot of people who have journeyed and are journeying that have been fake. They've not wanted to share their story. They've been embarrassed by it. They've been ashamed. They've been, well, I don't want people to look at me as sick. It is not people looking at you as though you're sick. You need the community, the
Mhm,
support to
mhm,
help you fight and
mhm,
increase your faith.
mhm,
So
mhm.
when you are out here, the only things that are not negotiable are your fight and your faith. Fake is something that you have subscribed to that is not the truth. It is not the truth. And when you are not standing in your truth, you're not honoring who God has called you to be. And we are the purpose of God. You are the purpose of God. So if you're being, I mean, let me just be very transparent here. There are so that I'm not being hypocritical in this. I'm just be very honest with you. There are a couple of things that are me that are fake. Let me clear that up right here. Okay. There are a couple of things on me that are fake. My lashes, because they haven't grown back after 16 years in the chemo treatment. My left breast, because it has a small implant and the stomach and the fat from my stomach, and my hair by choice because it's natural and I just don't have the patience to manage it. So, as far as fake, when it comes to anything else, everything is the most authentic thing that you will ever experience,
Yes,
ever. So when
yes.
you stand in your truth, you have to get rid of the fake, because you're selling yourself something that's not real. You're getting yourself caught up in nothingness, and you can't fight and fake at the same time. It's
It,
not
it,
possible.
in other words, what you're saying is um, the cancer may be there, but it can't do anything to you.
That part. That part. If
So don't
you
don't
control
live in that denial.
that part, you cannot deny. Okay, when you deny that you have a cancer diagnosis, you aren't giving yourself the fullest quality of life. You are not optimizing your opportunity for
Mhm,
longevity,
mhm.
because you're picking up the dandelions and you're tiptoeing through the tulips, yet and still ignoring the reality that cancer is inside of you, deteriorating your body.
Yes,
So you
yes.
have to acknowledge. What is it? The scripture says, not faith without works is dead. It'll
Now,
come to me.
now faith is.
We already know now faith is.
Right.
I mean, that gets rid of the fake altogether. Now faith is. Not later faith, now faith.
Now, yes,
Not later, now faith is.
yes,
Understand that now faith is dot dot
yes,
dot. Whatever you put behind that is, in that instance, the now is what
yes,
it becomes.
yes,
It is what it becomes.
yes,
No, no, no. It'll come to me what I'm saying. It'll come back. But we can't operate in the fake. You
yes.
cannot operate in the fake. You have to operate in the faith and the fight for your life.
And
Acknowledge it.
and that's wisdom, because what you just said, that
Yes.
you're denying the opportunity for longevity.
Yes.
Only God knows. He knows the first part of that dash, the part of your name,
And
your
all,
beginning, and He knows the end.
listen,
It's
let
up
me
to
tell
us
you
in the
something.
middle to do what the dash says, or to not do what it says, but to take control of the dash, because we have no
Absolutely.
control of the dates on each side of that
Absolutely.
dash.
Absolutely. Have to realize our stories have already been written. He
Mhm.
knows our last day from our first day, Kelly. He knows our last day from our first day. We are living a completed work. He knew last year that I was going to be here for this year.
Mhm.
Let
Mhm.
that sink in. What we're going through, what we're experiencing is
It,
already completed.
it did not catch him
We
by
are just
surprise.
going through the manifestation of what his plans. I know the thoughts and plans I have for you.
Yes,
God
yes,
knows the thoughts and plans he has for us. Not to
yes,
hurt or harm us, but to prosper us
yes,
and give us hope and a future. I
yes.
strongly believe that. I
And
strongly believe that's what breast cancer did. It gave me a hope and a future. It
now
didn't hurt me, it harmed me. It prospered me. It prospered me in purpose. It
that's what
prospered
I,
me to be the
yes, yes, yes,
best version of my better best self because he
yes,
knew the thoughts and plans. He knew that Essence was going to be an opportunity for me to glorify him. He knew that the best selling book written
yes,
by Sarah Brokaw was going to
yes,
be an opportunity to lift him up. He knew that
yes,
the light on the hill that he placed could not easily be hidden through my testimony. And when I say that, I'm saying this as a brag on God, not a brag on Beth, but a
yes,
brag on God.
yes, yes,
Hear me clearly when I
yes,
state that I am the brag of God, and so are you,
yes.
because you are a testimony. You are a survivor of something. So you too, not only are you the purpose of God, but you are the brag of God. Because when God is working through you and on you, He is showing out.
And look, what is that scripture when he had that conversation? Have you considered my servant Job?
You may have dot dot dot, but
Yes,
it dot 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 does not have you.
yes. I don't. You faded out. I don't know. Did you hear the part when he asked the enemy, "Have you considered my servant Job?" And you know what Job went through. He went through a lot, but the point I'm trying to make is God already knew what was he put inside of Job. He knew that Job was going to be a testament of his of God's unwavering love, faithfulness, deliverance, healing, restoration, all of that, because he was going
Yes.
to take whatever situation God placed him in and give him the glory.
Yes. Yes.
It doesn't matter if it's breast cancer, it doesn't matter if it's poverty, if it doesn't matter if it's a divorce, it doesn't matter, whatever it is, God trusts
Yes.
you with trouble. He trusted you with this test, and it's up to us to pass the test.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You
Which
couldn't have said it any better.
and the key, you know how they give you the key to the questions, the answer, if you will. Our key is we all we have to do is glorify God.
Yes. Come
That's
on,
it.
conversations with Kelly. Yes, ma'am. Okay, what we need to. What I mean, some people say dropping gems. What are we dropping? What is this we dropping? Kelly's what? Come on, what is this gonna be called? We gotta give this a name.
Yes.
It can't be Kelly's Clues. We got them Kelly something. Yes. Kelly's come through. Yes, ma'am. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And this is why it is so significant for you to be doing this. This is why it is key for conversations with Kelly to take place. This is why it's so necessary, because it's these different perspectives that come yet centralized around glorifying God.
Absolutely. And that's the whole purpose of the conversations, is to empower and give information, hope, and encouragement. That is it. And like I told you in the green room, I never said I wanted to be a podcaster. Never. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Nope.
Okay.
That was not a part of my vocabulary, not a part of my 10-year plan, not a part of my 3-day plan. Never. But as it happened, the doors just opened, and I walked in. And the whole purpose is to glorify God, to give information, inspiration, and encouragement.
Yes.
In whatever way he leads.
Yes.
So tell the viewers, I know the story, but for those that are just tuning in and are not familiar with Dr. Sprinkles, what was your diagnosis like? Like, walk us through when you first received the diagnosis.
Okay, so back up just a tiny bit then that leads up to it. And that is, I've been breast health conscious since the 11th grade. When I had my very first lumpectomy on my right breast, of which was benign. And then so that's 1985, 85, benign. Then on the left, it is 2000, 2002, 2004 lumpectomies. And then the cancer was discovered in 2007.
Wow.
So this is when I like to interject. Are you performing your monthly self-examinations consistently? I love that when I'm doing a live event and I say, ladies, gentlemen, who's performing their monthly self-examinations? And, people raise their hand and they're so proud, and I'm glad to see it. And then I say, raise them high, and they raise them high. And I say, consistently. And the hands go down and maybe one or two are remaining. And then I say to them, I don't say that to shame. I say that to share. And that is, if you are not doing them consistently, how will you know what they feel like normally? I'll say that again. If you are not performing your monthly self-examinations consistently, how will you know what they feel like normally? And that is simply getting in touch with your girls. Know what your girls feel like.
Yes.
Because my girls saved my life, Kelly. My girls saved my life. It's because we knew what the normal felt like to know that something was abnormal.
Yes, yes, yes.
And so it's so important, and I will say this until God takes me home. We are so connected with our sister girlfriends that, I'm feeling Kelly in my spirit. Let me send her a text. Oh, I'm feeling Kelly. Let me check on A, B, C, D, and F. The same way is only because we are in communication with each other, because we are in connectedness with one another.
Yes.
Minus those things, we don't know, right? So the same way with these girls and the way you connect with your girlfriend girls
ought to be the same.
Be as diligent. Stay connected with your girls. Know your girls. Like, you know, your girlfriends. Oh, she didn't look right on Facebook today. Let me send her a little sprinkle. Let me send her a little Kellyism. Let me send her a little something.
Yes.
We should have the same diligence in knowing your girls, because knowing what they felt like normally helped to find out that the cancer was there. And so when going into the doctor, this has been my breast surgeon for years, and his name was Dr. Schott, believe it or not. And so one day I came into the office, and Dr. Schott says, you have DCIS, ductal carcinoma in situ. And I say, what is that, and is it on sale? And of course, you know, Dr. Shock and I have a rapport that, you know, always cracking jokes and that sort of thing. So that was normal banter for the two of us. And he's like, you have breast cancer. And immediately I said, I will live and not die. And he's like, you're not going to die. You're going to live. I said, well, great. I just needed for us to be on one accord, because how can two walk together unless they agree?
Yes.
And you have to, that is so important. Get in agreement with God for your healing from the onset. And if you're in a place now where you are fighting and you have not gotten to that place, get in agreement with God.
Yes.
Now.
Yes.
Immediately.
Yes.
Get in agreement with God and begin to speak to your body. Begin to declare the things that you know are true. Exercise your faith exponentially, because your body doesn't have a choice but to begin to respond. Your body needs you.
Yes.
Your body needs every ounce of you to be in alignment and in agreement. So get in agreement with God, number one. Number two, and then I'll go back to the rest of the story. The other thing I want to share is number two. This is a question that I ask every single person as a newly diagnosed person or someone that is newly put in connection with me. And I ask them, do you want to live or do you want to die? Period. And I give them a minute and they think about it. I was like, wait a minute, what did you say? I said, do you want to live or do you want to die? And in that moment, you have to consider your mortality. And I say, whatever your answer is, I'm going to honor that and celebrate with you, whichever one it is. To let them know that whatever their choice and decision is, they will have somebody that will have their back. And to this day, I've not had one person to say they want to die.
Right. And so you could come back.
That is always the response. Well, I don't want to die. Well, if you don't want to die, get to living. Get to living. Whether you're fighting cancer, whether you're fighting depression, whether you're fighting diabetes, whether you're fighting COVID, whatever you are fighting, get to living.
Yes.
He came that we might have life and have it more abundantly. Live in the abundance that's yours.
And talk about
live it.
I know we're going back and forth, but the last time you talked about the difference between a thermostat and a thermometer.
Yes, ma'am. That's so fun. I just finished telling a young lady, not even 2 hours ago, I told a young lady, you are the thermostat. You control how you feel. You control if it's hot or cold. You don't measure. A thermometer measures what the internal temperature is. You are not that. You are the thermostat. You set it to be hot or cold.
Yes.
Fearful or faithful.
Yes.
Healed or hurting.
Yes.
You set that. You are the thermostat.
Yes.
In every area of our life, you are the thermostat.
And when do you need to take control of the thermostat?
And all the time, immediately.
Yes.
When you wake up tomorrow morning, hot or cold, period. You are making the choice to be whatever that is.
Yes.
And when you are making the choice to be whatever that is, commit. Be it. Be it. What do young people say? Period.
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 Period. Period.
Y'all better get you some millennials. They may have to translate a conversation, but they keep you young. They keep you
Yes.
in the know.
Yes.
And part of that with being in the know again comes back to knowing your girls, being truthful with yourself. And if you feel something, please don't fake it. Please don't deny it. You know, my diagnosis was 16 years ago. Do you know how much more far advanced research is now?
Medication, all of that. Yes.
I mean,
yes.
sometimes when I'm talking to the newly diagnosed sisters, oh, well, this and this, that, and the other, and da, I'm like, wow. I am just so amazed at how things have changed for the better.
Yes.
While we have not found a cure, and I just believe God, I believe God that a cure will be found. Because again, Kelly, I have said to you, while I never want to have someone join this sisterhood, I will gladly embrace them and let them know that they are not alone. Because no one fights alone. You are never alone. You have a pink sister called Sprinkles that you can DM and say, listen, I need a moment. You got 5 minutes. You got 10 minutes. I need a virtual hug. Holla at your girl. Sprinkle me, baby. Whatever it is, you are never alone. And that's just not only regarding breast cancer. You are never alone in this journey. You know, Kelly, we have COVID brought out the importance of mental health.
Yes, it did.
When people were not around people, we learned a lot.
Yes.
And never be in a position where you feel alone. Yes, God is with us. However, if you're in a mind space where you need a person, I'm here. Kelly is here. You're not alone in that vein. Please never, never consider yourself to be alone.
And here's the thing. We and I forgot to say this on the onset. We're not doctors. We're not prescribing. We are not diagnosing. We are just simply sharing experiences, positive information that can help you along the journey. And that's what these conversations are for, is to share.
Absolutely.
Be a sounding board, if you will, because there are conversations that we don't have. We don't talk about it. Mental health.
Yes.
Especially in the Black community. What do you mean going to a counselor?
So let me just tell you this here. So, newsflash, true flash, while white women are more likely to be diagnosed with breast cancer, Black women are more likely to die from breast cancer at a 41% higher rate.
Yes.
I mean, just think about that. 41% higher rate to die from breast cancer, not be diagnosed with it, to die from it.
Wow.
And that's because we feel something and don't say anything.
Yes.
Well, I'm not claiming this. I'm not, we've been taught in our culture that we keep things hush hush, and what happens in our house is our business, and don't be this. That's nonsense. That's time out for that. That is so passé. Just turn the page, ring the bell, keep it moving. We cannot afford to do that. We are dying at a 41% higher rate than any other ethnicity. So, Black women, perform your self-examinations, ladies. Sis, know your girls. Don't be embarrassed. Please. Please, please don't ignore anything. If you have discharge from your breast, pink flag. If your breast looks like an orange and is scaly, flag. If your breast is warm, flag. If you feel a lump, flag. Now, you said earlier, fibrocystic breast disease. That's when you
Yes.
have very thick, lumpy, dense breast. And
Yes.
when you have too much caffeine, those nodules change. So, all you Starbucks girls, all you sweet tea Arnold Palmerers, all of those, be mindful of your and chocolate. All of that is, stay away from the chocolate. It just, anyway, that's caffeine.
Okay,
All of the caffeine stuff, you need to be mindful of it, because it then produces little pockets in the fibrocystic breast disease, which again is simply thick, lumpy, dense breast.
now
It affects and impacts the nodules.
You're not
So
saying
caffeine in moderation.
Thank you. I was going to say, you're not saying just eliminate totally.
Yeah.
But you're saying moderate.
That part.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Gotcha.
I mean, all things in moderation. All things in moderation. And the other thing I would like to say, Kelly, is that when the next steps of receiving diagnosis, having to go through chemotherapy, and what I tell people is this: when you are diagnosed and you have to undergo a mastectomy or a double mastectomy, bilateral is just one, or a double mastectomy, I don't want you to stay so connected to your breasts. And hear my heart. My breasts don't make me a woman.
Thank you.
And they happen to remove the cancer which happened to be in my breast.
Yes.
And a lot of times people get, so I don't want to lose my breast. Well, do you want to lose your life? I don't want them. And then people, they're going to chop off my breast. No, they're removing the cancer that happens to be in your breast. So as a man thinketh,
so is he.
If you think they're chopping off my breast, that's what is going to be your experience. But the reality of it is, and I will challenge you, until I am no longer fulfilling purpose, they are removing the cancer that happens to be in your breast. So find the resolve in that. Your breast don't make you a woman. I have one, honey, and I'm all woman. I'm every woman. I am all woman, and I love the woman that I am. But I love the woman that I am.
Walk someone through who is continue with that, wrestling with, I'm going to lose my hair, wrestling with, I'm going to lose one or both of my breasts, or I have to go through, all of these things that may not feel good, look good, but continue to empower and encourage, because you are a 16-year survivor, because you said, this is not going to take me out. This is not going to control my life. I'm going to be in control of it. In other words, that goes back to the thermostat.
Yes, absolutely. Be in the frame of mind that when I began to lose my hair, my concern was more so for my children. At the time, they were 4 and 11. Trey was 4 years old and is now 20, and Taylor was 11 and he is now 28. So my concern was for my children. And so when my hair began to shed, it happened and I had no control over it. I was like, preparing myself. Okay, God, the doctor said it may or may not happen. And I was like, okay, I'm good with it. We can weave it up, wig it up, whatever needs to happen. I'm okay. So what I began to do was picturing myself bald. And I began to stand in the mirror, covering up my head and beginning to embrace my face. Beginning to embrace this minus oxygen. So I would get in the mirror and just like this. And so that was one way to start preparing. Number two, when my hair did start shedding, what that indicates is that the chemotherapy is working. We get so caught up in our hair, and we know culturally, Black women, our hair is our thing. We understand that. And the Bible says that a woman's hair is her glory. I get that. I honor that. I applaud that. However, I would like for you to entertain this. And this was my mantra, that God took my glory so that I could wear his, Kelly. He took my glory so that I could wear his.
Wow.
So that I could wear his glory.
Yes.
And so I only wore wigs when the hair first came out until my children adjusted to it. But after my children adjusted to it, I went with just my bald head. And people would always, oh my gosh, your head, your face is beautiful, your head, this, that, and the other. I'm not sure if you're having to wear this or this is by choice, but it was bringing attention to the glory of God. And in that moment, I was able to share the journey that I was going through, in that God was healing my body. What you are seeing, what you are witnessing is God healing my body. Yes, chemo is a chemical. It is. It is, and it impacts your body short-term and long-term, still dealing. It does. But the reality of it is it removed the cancer from my body that could have been floating around in my bloodstream. Because that's what happens. You take the chemotherapy because the cancer has broken off potentially and is floating in your bloodstream. And so what happens if two gang members, gang members are floating off, they can get to another part of the body and start whooping up on the good cells and be like, whoop, 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 we want you in the cancer gang. And before you know it, those two have now multiplied to 20. So now you got a whole nother little gang of cancer cluster cells. So I didn't want any gangs in my body. I didn't want any additional, I didn't want any of that. And so that's when going through chemotherapy, that's when going through chemotherapy to remove anything that may have broken off, because Dr. Shock told me that there is a 30% chance that some have broken off. There's a 30% chance that did not. And I said, Dr. Shock, the only percentage that I want to live in is 100. That's the only percentage that I want to live in. I have my son's dreams to be able to witness. I have my life to live. I have too many things. So whatever needs to happen for us to achieve that 100%, let's get it done.
Yes.
And so the encouragement, again, if you're fighting, if you have to undergo, please do not become attached to your body part. Because the reality, let's just be real truthful. What our bodies, we are souls. We are souls.
Yes.
What we have on this right here, I don't really look like this. I just happen to be in this. This ain't what I look like.
Yes.
My spirit just I mean, it can be, this is not who we really are.
Yes. It's
so
just
the reality is this. Do not become attached to this.
Yes.
When it comes to your life and living,
yes,
it is removal of the cancer that happens to be wherever it is. If it was in your pinky, you're not going to hang on to your pinky. If the cancer is in your pinky, what you going to do? Remove the pinky where the cancer happens to be, because they're removing the cancer that happens to be in the pinky. And the way that surgery, the way that you're closing the loop and you have options and know your status and know everything, there's reconstruction. You can be a flatty batty. You can have a high left, low right. You can have double D's. You can have implants. You can have expanders. Whatever you feel like you need to have, you have options. But please don't beat yourself up and call it loss. I know it may sound crazy right now, but once you sit back and really think about what I'm saying, you'll understand. You are not that.
And I thank you for saying that, because that is the most popular uh, complaint, if you will. I don't want to lose my hair. I don't want to, go through all of the experiences, lose my breast, or whatever the case may be. But you put it very, very succinctly. Think of
Yes.
it as it's just removing the cancer from wherever it is.
Yes. I would rather be alive with one today than dead with two.
Yes,
And
yes,
I can't, I mean, I sorry, not sorry to put it in that frame of mind, but I want you to understand. I want to encourage you with some loving truth, and hear my heart, loving truth. I'd
yes.
rather be alive with the one that I have than dead with two.
Now, do you see why I had her to come back? And she is so infectious. She's real, and has a way of um, loving you through the situation that she is pointing out that's not right. Whether it's your thinking, whether it's the way what you're saying, because we create our world by what we say. So she has definitely said, Kelly, no, no, that's not what you mean. In other words, listen to what you're saying. So that's why I wanted her to come back and empower and encourage those of you who are experiencing or going through a breast cancer journey. And before we leave, we cannot forget there are caregivers, there
Yes.
are family members who
Yes.
not personally affected, but because they're cared
Yes.
for, like a person who is going through that journey. What advice would you give them so that they could continue to be a good support for the person
Yes.
fighting back?
Caregivers. We are grateful for you. You are a godsend. But hear me and hear me well. Care for yourself. Care for yourself, because if you're not caring for yourself, you will be no good for the person that you're caring for.
Yes,
Hear
yes,
my heart.
yes,
Caregivers, please care for yourself. When you need a break, take a break. When you need assistance, call for help. Saying,
yes,
listen, I just need to get out of the house for a couple of hours. Can you please? It's so very important, because the caregiver will burn out
yes,
caring and
yes,
not care for themselves. You are valuable, not just to the person you're caring for, but to yourself. And the
absolutely.
other thing with the caregivers, remember that you matter too. Remember that you matter too.
Yes,
Even when it is tough, and even when you say, well, I've got to make sure, ma'am and sir, you deserve to be cared for as well.
I love you.
I love you
That
too,
is
Kelly.
putting it in the best way possible, because we think that we have to go over and beyond and overextend, be
Yes.
here for everything. But it's like when you're on a plane, they tell you the
Yes.
cabin pressure drops, put your
Put on.
mask on first, then assist. Why?
Yes, ma'am.
Because you could get so caught up in trying to save the next person until
Yes,
you begin to
ma'am.
lose oxygen, and then eventually.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
so, what you're saying for those who are caring for, loving someone
Yes.
through a cancer journey,
Yes.
be aware that you have to take the time for yourself, mentally,
Absolutely.
spiritually, so that you can be encouraged enough and built up enough to encourage and build up the person that you are loving and supporting.
Absolutely. There is something else I would like to say, and that is for those that are short-term survivors and long-term survivors. When we are first diagnosed and in treatment, we're getting all of the attention, if you will. And where we are, having to go to appointments, having to keep up, having to take medication. Are you okay? Do you need anything? And so once we begin to get into the extension of our longevity and survivorship, there are some people that don't know how to respond to that. And it causes them to feel some kind of way. It causes them to feel depressed. It causes them to feel disconnected because they're no longer having the same amount of attention. And so my encouragement to those short-term and long-term survivors, you hear me say the word, anyone can survive. Anyone can survive anything. It is how you make the determination to thrive in what you have survived. Hear me. To thrive in from what you've survived, which makes you a survivor. So in your survivorship, understand God still has you here for a purpose. So as you are thriving, find out why you exist, what you're passionate about, how can you serve? Show me God, show me, show me my importance, show me my significance, show me my to do here on earth.
Yes.
And we forget about that. So it's time to thrive. And if you need assistance and support in finding out what your survivorship is, call me now, DM me. I would love to. We can't just be out here just upset and not fully being the purpose of God, fully completing his purpose in us, because there is a work for us all to do. So as you are from survivor to thriver, let me support you in finding out what you're alive to thrive. Let's find out what you're alive to thrive in. And it's that replacement of what you were missing and experienced before that will then light your eyes up, will give you long-term life, will give you your passion, will give you your zeal, will give you your triumph. So from survivor to thriver.
And I love that word, thriver.
Yes. Yes.
Definitely have dropped some nuggets. Some were a little heavy.
I'm sorry, I dropped some what?
Nuggets.
I don't drop nuggets.
Oh,
what do I drop?
I forgot. You sprinkle.
I had to mess with you, Kelly.
Absolutely. But for those of you all who sincerely want someone who has walked the walk, as you can see, talk the talk, full of resources, infectious energy, infectious encouragement, empowerment. I am going to put up her information right now. You can contact her. It's showing up at the bottom of the screen. She is phenomenal. And those of you all who, let's say, are planning for a breast cancer awareness function, and why do we have to wait till October? Why can't we have breast cancer awareness once a month? You understand what I'm saying?
So that's the whole thing. I am breast cancer awareness. Every day I'm alive. I am breast cancer awareness.
Well, there you go. But I guess the emphasis should not just be in October.
Yes.
It should be 24/7, 365.
Absolutely. You are correct.
But if you're planning an event, want someone to empower, encourage a group of women, she is the bomb.com. So I am ecstatic that you were able to join us again. What last piece of advice do you have for those who are in their thrivership.
Yes.
What is your last piece of information or words of wisdom or sprinkles? What would you like to put what's on
So
top?
here's my last sprinkle, and that is today is called the present.
Yes.
It is a gift from God.
Yes.
So open it up and receive what you're supposed to receive. Open it up and be the blessing that you're supposed to be. You are a present to someone in the gift of today called the present. Sprinkles.
Love it, love it, love it, love it. Well, you, ma'am, have definitely ignited some encouragement in some of the viewers. And if you have any questions before we sign off, post them. She will definitely answer them. And I
Yes.
told you, if you shout out to us, we'll shout back out to you. Let me know who's
Yes.
watching, where you're watching from. Um, Now, here's the thing: if you know someone who's going through a cancer journey and you want prayer, or you yourself want prayer, contact either one of us, and we will via DM confidentially pray for you, touch our faith with you,
Yes.
because we
Yes.
know that God does not make mistakes, and He trusts us with trouble. Sometimes I say, Lord,
Yes.
okay, can you trust us with a little less? But but just like you said, your situation brought him glory. And that's
Yes.
all that the trials and tribulations that we face is supposed to do, is bring him glory.
Yes.
So I don't see
Yes.
any comments or questions in the comment section, but I will just say thank you again. Oh, and I forgot to tell everybody what I nicknamed you.
It's
I,
my honor. It is my honor.
I
Honored.
nicknamed her MOM, MOM. The acronym stands for Motivating Others to Maximize. And let me tell you, now if you call her or DM her, she's gonna come with the truth, and she's going to say, okay, now here's the information. What are you going to do with it? And we'll hold you accountable. So I thank you for being a motivator, helping others maximize, whether it's through breast cancer awareness, whether it's whatever else you're doing. You are just phenomenal. And I thank God that we were able to cross paths
I know, Kelly.
way back
I
when.
know. I mean, the intentionality of God. I mean,
Yes. Yes. He does all things well.
that's come. Okay, there she
All
goes
things
with a Kellyism. Well, we got God is gonna drop what that's gonna call. It's gonna be more. They more than nuggets. They more than bombs. He's gonna give me. He's gonna drop down. We gonna have you something. He's gonna give it to me.
okay.
And when I
Okay.
get it, I'm gonna make sure you. Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay, absolutely. But again, thank you for eavesdropping in on this conversation. Tag and share this
Yes.
podcast with anyone that you know, actually, any female. Well, I take that back, because men can also get
Listen. Rest in peace, Richard Roundtree.
absolutely. I was
Richard
just going
Roundtree
to
transitioned. What's today? Sunday. I think it was Thursday.
say.
Wednesday or Thursday. He transitioned. He was a breast cancer survivor.
Yeah, male.
He was a male, black male. He was a breast cancer survivor. And so funny story with Richard Roundtree. As a child, I was a child model. I was a model for Red Book magazine and J.C. Penney.
Okay.
And they would always pair me with he and Naomi Campbell, not Naomi Campbell, Naomi Sims as my
Okay.
parents.
Okay. Wow.
Yep. I was a childhood model for not Ebony, for J.C. Penney and Redbook, and they would always pair me with the two of them as my parents.
Wow. Well, he was an awesome actor. I mean,
Yes.
legendary. The original Shaft.
Yes.
Legendary.
And he spoke very openly about his cancer journey.
And I was going to say, until he started talking about it, I never knew that men could get breast cancer.
Yes,
now, I
ma'am.
know, of course, prostate cancer and, things like that, but not breast cancer.
Yep.
But again, if you want some encouragement and empowerment, you want to contact her. Her contact is at Beth Sprinkles Goodman on all social media platforms. DM her, and I promise you, if you want her to speak, not just for breast cancer, she is dynamic just on any topic that you give her. She is available and will definitely be a blessing to those in attendance. So hold tight, Mom, in the green room. Now, for those of you that are viewing and have caught several podcasts, I always tell you, make sure to subscribe because we have some conversations coming up. And I can't tell you because it's not quite time yet, but just stay tuned. You'll begin to see the flyer with upcoming podcasts. And God always blows my mind with the people that He connects, the people that He ordains to have a conversation with. So you don't want to miss it. So until next time, you all be blessed. And I love you. And there's nothing you can do about it. Until next time.